1.5 million. 1.5 million. That's the number of college students in the US that are under the age of 25 that are either underemployed or unemployed. Now, maybe you're a college student like me, and maybe you're afraid of graduating without a job. Or maybe you're a parent that has a child in college or one day to attend college, and maybe your greatest fear is your child coming back home to live with you. I think in any case, every single one of us knows someone that's in college that's at risk of graduating without a job. Why is it that 53% of recent college graduates are jobless? Why is it that you can go to school through high school and college and achieve a 3.8 GPA and still graduate without a job? What can we do to address this issue? Growing up, I was very fortunate to have loving parents that really cared about me, and they cared very deeply about my education. So deeply that even though we were just middle class, they sacrificed financially to send me to the best private schools. I attended private school from first through ninth grade, and then I attended a really lower tier, rough public school from 10th through 12th grade. And when it came time for me to apply to college, I applied to a number of schools, but I was only accepted into one. Only one school wanted me, and that was Georgia Tech. And even though Georgia Tech is the top school in the nation, I declined the offer because I was afraid of taking Calculus 1 and Calculus 2. Yeah. So instead, I enrolled in a 2-year community college before I then transferred to the University of Georgia. But there was something profound that happened to me between the time that I graduated high school and the time that I started my 4th year of college. I had the incredible opportunity to complete 4 professional internships. And it was during these internships that I realized part of the solution to this problem. During my first internship, I came to the realization that the reality of the classroom did not match the reality of the work world. I quickly realized that just because I could get good grades did not mean that I could produce the one thing that mattered most in the work world, and I'm sure each of you professionals know is the results. But still, how do people produce great results? That's the question that I started to ask myself, and during my second internship, I found the answer when I met John Arminio. Now, John was an interesting case because John was relatively young, yet he had advanced through his career track very rapidly. I noticed that John thought differently from everyone else. I noticed that John had a way for applying creative solutions to solve complex problems. And it's this one skill set that I saw in John that I would see over and over in my upcoming internships. It's this one skill set that I believe if more of those 1.5 million students could have graduated with, more of them would now have jobs. And that skill set is problem solving. Problem solving is the ability to use critical thinking, analytical thinking, creativity, and inquisitiveness to solve a real world problem. So, you're on the job and your sales have decreased consistently. That's a problem. You're a manager at work, and after a round of layoffs, you've noticed that the employee morale has decreased. That's a problem. It's your wife's birthday tomorrow, and you forgot to get her a gift. That's a problem. But in each and every one of these cases, there is a definite and a basic framework for solving problems. Now, if you forgot to get your wife a gift, I can't help you there. A wise man once told me a happy wife is a happy life, so I imagine the converse is true as well. But why specifically problem solving? Because it's a transferable skill, and it's the most important among many. About a year and a half ago, I got involved in helping a creative learning program launch, a creative learning program called Mind Blowers. We started Mind Blowers because we realized that there was a growing need in the economy that was not being met in the U.S. school system. We realized that for the very first time, companies were willing to hire students that, instead of hiring students that had a high GPA, to maybe hire students that may have had a little bit of a lower GPA, but had demonstrated experience in a transferable skill such as problem solving. We realized with Mind Blowers that our education system in the U.S. was one-dimensional. Students learned math, science, English, and history, but there was no mode that really bridged the gap between all of these subjects to show students how they could use all of them together in order to solve a real-world problem. We saw that with Mind Blowers, students in the US and all around the world were learning one-dimensionally, but with our program, we're blowing the top off education to provide students with a framework, a method, and a mode to solve real-world problems. Like our guy with his head blown off? I know, I do too. This is actually our logo for Mind Blowers. Essentially, the way the program works is we partner with the local Boys and Girls Club where we work with their students on a regular basis through a wide range of critical thinking exercises. And we work with them in these small groups, but the students have to bring together all of the different subject areas from school in order to solve a real-world problem. We challenge the students to use their mathematical skills. We challenge the students to use what we call the scientific mode of thinking. And then we also challenge the students to use reading comprehension. The students have to bridge the gap between all of these subjects in order to solve a problem that they'll likely face one day when they're running their own business or one day when they're in their respective careers. Now here's the big question. We all know that this is a global education issue, but what will each and every one of you do in order to make a difference? I strongly believe that it's going to take responsible citizens getting involved in the education process to make a difference. And making that difference means different things to different people. For me, it meant starting Mind Blowers. But for you as a college student, it may mean starting a similar program where you partner with a local Boys and Girls Club. And for you as a parent, it may mean actually convincing your child's principal to launch an after-school program focused on creative learning or critical thinking. And maybe you say, I'm not a parent or a college student. Well, maybe you're courageous and bold. And for you, it may mean actually petitioning your local school board to make changes at the curriculum level. My point is this, that no matter who you are, no matter your level of commitment, every single one of us can get involved in the process of integrating problem solving into K through 12 education. Who is this? His name is Ken Watanabe. And Ken, after years of being a consultant for a major consulting firm, he quit his job because he realized that there was this growing need in our education system. And he began writing a children's book to help children in Japan think like problem solvers. The book was such a success that it was not only used in the school systems in Japan, but it also became an international bestseller amongst professionals. Some people only think about the things that they will change in the nation, but he actually did it. And you will too, I promise. But here's what I want every single one of you to do. I want every single one of you to, number one, get involved in helping our kids think like problem solvers. No matter whether you have time or you don't have that, no matter whether you have a lot of time or a little bit of time, I think every single person can get involved in this process. And if that means taking your child or a group of kids that you know once a week and working on a critical thinking exercise with them, do it. And after that, I want every one of you to report back. I want you to let me know what worked and what didn't work. And after you do that, we're going to build out a formula for helping our kids think like problem solvers that we're going to disseminate to school systems everywhere. Our precious kids that become problem solvers, they won't lead normal lives. They won't just get good jobs. They will innovate, they will solve problems, and they will change the world. We're going to blow the top off education all around the world. We're just going to do it. And I'm inviting each and every one of you to join the movement. Thank you.